with a peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage with $22.67 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Billboard Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/4/24.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
Y'all listen up. Let me tell you something about group meals from Rudy's Barbecue. It's got all you need for all the folks you gotta feed, smoked meat, sides, and more. There's everything down to the tablecloth, just like the one that you see at the store. At a bridal shower, it's better than flowers. And a long business meeting, it'll pass the hours. It'll feed all the cousins at a family function. It's better than potluck at a church luncheon. Next time you need to feed 10 or more, call and order a Rudy's group meal.
Next in line.
It seems like I rescue countless people every summer. 4 summers ago, there was a person that was caught in a rip current and no one else saw it. She was pretty close to going under. She was definitely bobbing under. And I took my friend's board and I ran out and got to her just in the nick of time. And then the lifeguards came and got her after that. The power of the ocean deserves everyone's respect. Even on tranquil days, hard to see powerful rip currents are present up and down our coast. Every year, unsuspecting swimmers find themselves in the grip of a rip. Many lose their lives. Such tragic events could easily be prevented with a few local tips. Know before you go and always check beach forecast before you head out. Always swim near a lifeguard. And if you find yourself caught in a rip current, don't panic. Float, wave, and shout until help can arrive. And if you're a good swimmer, don't fight the rip current. Swim parallel to the beach to break free of the current's hold. Live like a local, love the beach, respect the ocean.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the next evolution of sports talk radio. The biggest stories and the biggest reactions.
Now.
And now we're taking...
With the first pick.
This is the last ball you got in the bag.
The Inside Drive. From college to the pros, interviews with the newsmakers, sports betting, your phone calls, and more. And now, The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
And good Wednesday morning. Wednesday, right? Whew, got nervous there for a second if I was incorrect or not correct. But good Wednesday morning here in the Florida Panhandle. You are listening to the Inside Drive, joined almost every day by my co-host, Jay Henley, the swing doc out there at Bay Point Golf Club, DJ Davey Crockett behind the glass. And I'll tell you what, he's been on a string of fancy cool hats. He's been on fire. It's like we got out of football season, and he's like, cool baseball hat, cool baseball hat, cool baseball hat. And you never know what's going to happen next.
This is the old Goodwill special, too. I used to live in Savannah for a little while, and
nice.
So we'd go to Sand Gnats. They weren't this, Sand Gnats games. They weren't this color then. They were like a green and gold, but I saw this at Goodwill and was like, gotta have it.
Yeah.
$2.99. I'll take that.
Heck yeah.
Yes,
It's a great looking hat, and especially because it's kind of unique, too. Yeah. So it's probably worth a lot more than that $2.99 if somebody wanted to take it off your noggin there, that's for sure. But you've been on fire with the hats lately, that is for sure.
I appreciate you noticing that because, I'm kind of trying to wear all of them, and that'll take me about 75 days.
Yeah. No, it's kind of exciting when we get here in the studio and David comes on in. And I said, what hat is David going to be wearing today? So cool to see that. Savannah Sand Gnat. Not good to see Sand Gnats. That's not a good time.
You can't see them, really.
No, it's almost like the no-see-ums.
Yeah.
Similar.
But I was in Savannah when they were the Cardinals. So, I mean, that's the difference, I guess, between the 10 years of we're 10 years apart, right?
How old are you?
43.
Yeah, exactly. 10 years apart.
Yep.
How about
Yeah,
that?
you're 43.
Yeah.
Ooh, you'll be 44 this year.
I know.
That's like half the adult life expectancy.
I'm on the back end.
Yeah. You're about to be over that hill.
Yeah.
Or on top of the hill. You'd be on top of the hill, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
You're not over it yet.
That's right.
They used to say that was 50. But I don't know.
Who knows?
We're getting closer to that, though. That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But yes, you are listening to The Inside Drive. Got another great show lined up for everybody today. You can listen live and local on 104.3 in Panama City Beach, 101.9 in Port St. Joe along the Forgotten Coast. You can watch us there on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Just search ESPN Northwest Florida. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. Share our show when we go live. We appreciate the help in getting the word out there, as we like to help get the word out there about everything going on here with Bay County sports. You can also download our free mobile app inside the Google Play or Apple Store. Just search 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. And last but not least, we've been pushing it hard this week. Go follow our TikTok page for The Inside Drive. We're getting there. We got like almost 40 followers now. We're getting kind of a big deal. The viewership is good, but the better the content, the better the views. So we are working on that. But we appreciate all the love and support out there. Going to talk about some local sports here in this first segment. Coming up at 11:20, we'll have the FSU women's head golf coach Amy Bond on the line with us, talking about their season, and it's already underway. They've played 2 tournaments, and if I'm not mistaken, they won their first tournament of the year. This past tournament at the Moon Invitational didn't have quite as good of a showing, but got their spring season about in the mix and all that good stuff. But first, before we dive into some of this local action, Jay, today is the last day for the pre-registration period of your spring junior camp coming up, right? People can save a little money if they register by the end of the day today?
Yes, they can. We have, I think at midnight it does, I believe. Yeah.
I don't know. It's your program, not mine.
Midnight Central. Yeah. Yeah, Midnight Central. Yeah, golfwithj.com. Click on Student Clinic Booking. There may be 4 spots left right now, and that's pre-registration. So we still have a few more weeks of actual registration. But
so pre-registration, there's only 4 spots left.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
It'll be.
It's a testament to the enjoyment and the fun that you guys and the instruction, of course.
Yeah.
All the good stuff that you guys have going in these programs, and let everybody know if they haven't heard. What do you got coming up? What is this spring development camp you've got coming up?
Yeah, each and every week we'll end up every Monday in the spring from 4 to 5 p.m. We'll do something different each and every week.
Mama Henley's watching.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Mom. Love you.
Loyal follower.
She's my number 1 fan.
There you go. That's how it's supposed to be.
That's right. But
sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
just wanted to let you know Mama was watching. She commented.
I got you. But yeah, Monday, 4 to 5. That's going to kick off March 11th. We'll take March 18th off, and then that will run every Monday through May 6th. But yeah, ages 7 to 12. If you do have a child interested or you want to sign them up, like I said, go to golfwithj.com. We'll do chipping, putting. We'll get them on the golf course. Special appearances by Michael Shears, former UGA golfer, potential PGA Tour player here in the next year or two. So
get that autograph now.
There you go. That's it. But he's actually out at Shark's Tooth this morning.
Is he helping out with the Watersound Invitational, or just watching some of his former friends?
Former friends
or not former friends.
Well, yeah.
Watching his friends' former teammates.
He said it was funny yesterday. He dressed in his Vandy yesterday.
Well, they're winning the dang tournament.
And they're winning the tournament, but he looked just like the players, outside the ropes.
Yeah, that's funny.
Outside the ropes.
Yes.
But yeah. No, he's been great. He's been great to have, and kids love him out at Bay Point. And but yeah. Well, like I said, 4 more spots. We're going to try to keep, once you get to about 14, 15 kids at the age of 7 to 12, it gets a little dicey.
Well, it's all about making sure you're maximizing their fun and instruction. Yeah. If it gets a little bit too big, then you kind of can lose the focus on what the whole clinic is all about.
That's right.
Yeah, got to keep it's like your class sizes in school, right? You don't unless you're at Ohio State or UCF where you've got hundreds of people in your Econ 101 class. You want to keep your class sizes pretty small.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I never was in the gifted classes, so I always had pretty small.
We didn't know.
Yeah.
It's still gifted, Jay. It's still gifted, okay? Just a different type of gift.
That's right. There you go.
Yeah, the gifted, not a lot of other people can give us, and you give it us every day here on the Inside Drive, and we appreciate
Good things come wrapped up.
That's right. there you go. There you go. Talking about some of our local sports here in this first segment, I'm going to start with the Rutherford Rams, the girls varsity basketball team. They are going to be taking on Bishop Kenny tomorrow in the Region 1 finals with a chance to go to the state semifinals, the Final Four, as some may call it. And they need some help. It's not cheap. Do they need the help for this one, or is it for the next round, or is it all of the above? Really doesn't matter, because they're traveling to Bishop Kenny to play this game.
So the Elite 8 trip is going to cost about $2,500, and if they're fortunate enough to make it to the Final Four, that's going to be around $5,000 at that point. So any help will definitely help, and we had Coach Tony Davis on yesterday. You can take a check over there to Rutherford, and that'll help them out tremendously, man. We always, there's been many times Arnold's going down and Bozeman and stuff. So let's help out Rutherford in this. I mean, this is 3 straight years that they've made it to the Elite 8. 3 straight years that they're going to be playing Bishop Kenny. So if you can find it in your heart to help them out, head on over there to Rutherford, and they'll help you from there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and that's one of the things, we talk about it all the time. We've got some really high, talented, strong programs right here in Bay County across various sports. And, take pride in it. Help them out. Help be a part of that run that they're trying to make. They're currently ranked 21st in all of the state of Florida and have only lost 1 game this season. So hopefully they can continue that run. And like David said, if you're looking to help out, you can travel right over there to Rutherford High School. Let them know you're wanting to make a donation to help the girls varsity basketball team on the expenses that comes with these playoff runs. And of course, good luck to them tomorrow. We'll be talking a little bit more about it tomorrow as well. Also want to talk about one of the teams I hadn't talked about too much, but that's the Chipley Tigers boys varsity basketball team. They are in the 1A state tournament. They won the region semifinal game there over Bethlehem 69-44. And then yesterday they had a really strong victory against Jay, not you, Jay, but Jay High School, who ended up beating the number 1 seed in that particular region, Paxton, 52-45. So they advanced to the region finals to take on Chipley. And Chipley got out to a big lead and never looked back, winning that one 73-49. That's just a lot of points scored in a high school basketball game. So Chipley will be taking on Williston in the state semifinals as the number 4 seed from that region. And they win that game, they're on to the last game that they can possibly play in, and that's the state championship. So that game will be played on March 1st, which is next Friday, March 1st, a week from this Friday coming up. So a lot of time to prepare for that one, but good luck to the Chipley Tigers as they try to potentially bring home a Class 1A boys basketball state championship. And then, of course, guess what today is, Jay?
Wednesday, hump day?
It is hump day. There's no doubt about that. But it is the big one. And if you like to support local sports, you need to get out to Gavlack Stadium tonight at 7 p.m. as Arnold takes on Booker T. Washington with a chance to go to the state Final Four on the line. This is the Region 1 Class 5A state tournament final. If they beat Booker Washington in this one, they head on down to, I always forget where that's played, but it's somewhere down there in South Florida where they'll go for another bid of state championship. But the tricky thing is with Booker T. Washington knocked them out of the state tournament last year, and then the district championship, Booker T. Washington beat them in PKs, and that's why Arnold had to travel for that first game where they went and played Lecanto. They didn't have a home game in that one because Lecanto was actually a district champion, and Arnold wasn't because of Booker T. Washington. Gotcha. So I can guarantee you that this is going to be some wonderful soccer being played. It's going to be intense. It's going to be loud, and the better the crowd, the better the support, the better those boys will play. I know that is for sure. I was talking to Jonah right before the show. Tickets will only be on GoFan. So make sure you download that GoFan app. It's insanely easy. Just download GoFan. You find the game. You buy the tickets. They scan them. You're good to go. So again, that's 7 p.m. tonight. Get there a little early because I know it's going to be a big crowd supporting those Arnold Marlins as they're trying to make another trip down there to the Final Four and potentially win a Class 5A state champion. So I know a lot of the UA girls soccer teams are going to be going. We're going to be going, just tons of people going to this one. So it's going to be a beautiful night too for soccer. It's a beautiful day right now, and it's only getting warmer. So why not cap it off with a awesome soccer game right here in our backyard?
And what time is it again?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Get there a little early because I know there's going to be a lot of people coming through those gates.
Yes.
But it's going to be exciting, that's for sure. But obviously, we'll report on the results of that game tomorrow right here on the Inside Drive. But I'm excited for this one. I hope it's time. Arnold is not only trying to make another run at a state championship, but it's going to have to go through the team that seems to have had their number the last couple of years. And sometimes that revenge can be served very, very sweet. So good luck to those Arnold Marlin boys soccer team as they make some stuff happen. Update on the UA soccer team, and I don't know the seeding yet, but our girls did win yesterday. 0-0 at half. Little sluggish start with the holiday yesterday or on Monday. No practice, but then got back to form and ended up winning that game 7-0, and that was over Breakfast Point Academy. So Arnold University Academy ended up being the number 1 seed over Bayhaven because the tiebreaker apparently for middle school soccer is away victories. And the way the schedule worked out is, and because we don't have a home field really besides Public Sports Park, University Academy ended up having one more away victory than Bayhaven did. So it's Arnold, Bayhaven. I don't know who 3 and 4 is yet. If Ian, our soccer coach, texts me back before the end of the show, I will certainly update that as well. But
I got a good tour of North Bayhaven yesterday.
Did you?
I did. I was at the wrong school.
You got the old Bayhaven Charter Academy confused with North Bayhaven?
That's totally got it. Like,
those are real close together,
okay,
too.
thank you.
No, they're not.
They're 2.5 miles apart.
It's
you
gotta go across a bridge.
I was back and forth yesterday. I'm like, is there a middle school basketball game going on there? And finally, one teacher, thank you, whoever she was, she goes, "Sir, you're at the wrong Bayhaven. That's about 2.5 miles down the road."
To your credit, it's very confusing.
It's got to be.
It's very confusing because North Bayhaven is, if I'm not mistaken, is it like Bozeman is where it's a K through 12 school? David.
I think so, just because when I was running the board for the Coach Hale show, we had a live show out there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like there was kids involved.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so
all right. So you would think that they'd have a middle school competing in that kind of stuff,
right?
But it is that Bayhaven Charter Academy right there, and I think it's Hawks Landing or something like that. The development's in, but they've got great programs as well.
They do.
But wanted to update that again. That was the middle school soccer.
And then, now you know where Wrestling Against Cancer 9 is going to be at Bayhaven Charter Academy.
You were just doing a little bit of scouting, so you'd be ready for it. That's all.
Well, and Bayhaven is Bobcats. And,
yes, they are.
Bobcats, and then North Bayhaven is the Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, yes.
Okay.
Yep. Right. As opposed to the Bozeman Bucks, which is the Antlers.
That's
on
right.
The old deer ski there.
That's right.
Also going to give you an update on the middle school boys basketball standings. We'll have Chris Fall in studios with us again, previewing the playoff games. But Mowat won a thriller yesterday, 27-25, to lock up that 4th and final spot, as that was a play-in game there to make that spot. So Jinx took care of business. They're the number 1 seed, Rutherford number 2, Bayhaven number 3, and Mowat claimed that 4th and final playoff spot yesterday. So those will get started here on Thursday. We'll preview those matchups on Thursday with Chris Fall. UA ended up having their second victory of the season, finishing the season 2-6. Not bad after starting 0-6. They beat Breakfast Point Academy yesterday over there at the Stingrays home gym, 28-21. And like I said, Jinx won 50-25, and we don't have the Bozeman Bayhaven score, but Jay, you may have that one.
Well, I had the halftime score.
A little lopsided to start out.
It was, and then I don't even really want to give the number out because
Bayhaven won.
They did. There we go.
That's all we need to report on that one.
Yep.
So that's all your boys middle school basketball stuff going on. I also know where all the baseball and softball seasons are getting underway with all of our high schools here, and we'll keep you updated on that. Wanted to give an update before we jump into our next segment with Amy Bond. Looking forward to that conversation. But the Watersound Invitational, we didn't talk about it yesterday. You brought it up briefly just a few minutes ago. Michael Shears over there watching his former team, the Vanderbilt Commodores. But as of today, the second round was completed yesterday. Third round is underway as we speak. And the least amount of holes the team is through 5 holes. So probably another 3 hours or so, and this thing will be wrapped up. But Vanderbilt currently has a 6-stroke lead at minus 22. minus 22 under par over Virginia at minus 16. And Virginia's already minus 4 on the day today. So they've got a 6-stroke lead over Virginia, followed by the Clemson Tigers at minus 15. Florida State Seminoles got off to a slow start, but ended up getting it to 12 under par. They're through holes 10 through 12 right now today. Still 10 strokes behind Vandy, but a long way to go. And when you're counting 4 out of 5, there's a lot of things that can happen very quickly. Georgia Tech tied for 5th at minus 10 with the Ohio State Buckeyes. Then you got Oklahoma State minus 7, Notre Dame minus 5, Mississippi State, who was out to an early lead, but then kind of had a tough day yesterday, shooting a 292, which, if I'm not mistaken, is 4 over par versus the 4 under par that they shot in the first round. Alabama plus 9 had a tough go yesterday, shooting 301. NC State also plus 9, and then the University of Pennsylvania bringing up the last spot there at plus 44. Just not as strong as a program there as the rest of these powerhouse schools from the ACC and the SEC.
I think the last guy for Vandy went out at 9:40 this morning, and they've got a flight out of here at 4 o'clock this afternoon. That's gonna be tough.
Hey, they're out there. That's a hop, skip, and a jump to the airport
that's
from
true.
where they are.
What you think? 10 minutes? 10-minute drive?
Yeah, maybe 15.
15?
Yeah, I mean, hell, it takes you 5 minutes just to get out of Sharks Stew, driving all the way out through and
that's
getting back to 98. But just a quick jump down there to 79, up across the intercoastal, and they'll be at the airport and ready to go.
Yep.
But although Florida State is 10 strokes back, they have an individual who is currently leading this tournament, and he is competing as an individual. He's not part of the 4-count 5, and that's Gray Albright. He is currently minus 9. He's got a 1-stroke lead over Christo Lemprex, Georgia Tech player there. We've talked about him before, but Gray shot a 68 in the first round, a 70 in the second round. He's currently minus 3 through 9 holes on his round today. So cool to see Florida State got a individual player in contention there, because always a good time. If you don't win as the team, it's always fun to have an individual from your team win these tournaments, especially a tournament with as much talent as this particular one does. But we'll keep you updated on that throughout the show, and then we'll give you the final update tomorrow as well on what is going on with that. But yeah, looking forward to talking to Amy Bond.
Yeah, no kidding.
I hadn't talked to her in a while.
It's been, how long do you think it's been? It was summer last year?
Probably. Right around the start of the fall season. And she's got a lot of, LPGA Tour players that have graduated. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it'd be cool to figure out what's going on with them.
Get some questions lined up, and we'll make it happen there, that's for sure. And then, of course, it is Wednesday, so we'll be joined by Keith Fleming at 12 o'clock, getting all of our golf preview. I think it's the Vidanta Puerto Vallarta Open, something along those lines down there, and on the western coast of Mexico. And the only reason I know about the Vidanta property is because when we were at Kemper Sports there at Bay Point, we used to do that hole-in-one contest where
that's right.
If anybody got a hole-in-one at any time, they won a 5-day, 4-night trip to one of those Vidanta properties. It's a great promotion we had because Kemper was helping manage those properties. But beautiful golf courses. I know there was one in the Baja Peninsula there right at the end. It was a Nicklaus Signature course that was pretty spectacular. No, I never got a chance to. I still kicked myself because they gave us a heck of a discount opportunity to go and stay in some of those five diamond resorts, but just never had the opportunity to go. Needed best to get a passport.
Some people have to work, I guess, right?
Yeah, some people. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so that'll be exciting to see how that goes. We'll preview that. And I think he's also going to bring us a story as well to keep up with this afternoon delight debrief. He hasn't told me what it is, but he's going to bring it to the table. So we'll all be surprised, and we are excited about that. That's for sure. But when we get back, like I said, we'll be joined by Amy Bond. She's the head women's golf coach right down the road over there at Florida State University. Excited to talk to our good friend and see what they got going on. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back.
Your home for college basketball. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This Saturday, it's a college basketball doubleheader as the Washington Huskies travel to the McHale Memorial Center in Tucson to take on the Wildcats of Arizona. Coverage starts at 12:30. Then, your number 14th ranked Auburn Tigers are in Athens to battle the Georgia Bulldogs. Coverage starts at 4:30. Tip-off at 5 on your home for college basketball on the Gulf Coast.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Sunshine this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest around 8 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 66. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 54. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 66. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Visit the newly remodeled Mid-South Lumber Hardware and Feed Store in Youngstown. They have a full line of plumbing, electrical, hardware, and tools for your DIY home projects, as well as lumber and animal feed. Now offering not only baby chicks and a full line of poultry supplies, but also bunnies and parakeets. They also carry a wide selection of Duplin wines and gourmet products so you don't have to drive to the beach. Come see us at Mid-South Lumber on Highway 231 in Youngstown. Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
The locals love it.
You're gonna love this. You are my favorite. It's my favorite.
Everybody's favorite. The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey. Live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. One of our good friends out there at Bay Point, good friends of the show, and just a good friend, awesome person. Love to follow the Florida State women's golf team, and that's Coach Amy Bond. Coach, how are you doing today?
I am good, Ryan. Thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Exciting to hear from you.
Yes, always a good time, and I always appreciate you taking time out of, I know, what is a very busy schedule to make a little bit of opportunity for us to chat about the FSU women's golf team. So we'll jump right into it. It's spring season. It's the one that counts. It's the one that leads you to hopefully a good run at an NCAA national championship. So how has the season started so far? I know you guys got off to a really hot start in that first tournament of the spring season.
We did. We had the opportunity to actually travel abroad to Mexico and play in Guadalajara Country Club, and started off with a win, which is always good. It was a new lineup for us. We added a player that had to sit out in the fall. We added her to the lineup, and thankfully it worked out well. Great coaching decision on my part to throw her in the lineup, and we got a win out of it. And we just finished up at the Moon Invitational yesterday, which really, outside of a national championship, I feel like it was the strongest field we'll see all year.
Yeah, what were some of the other universities in there that you'll probably end up seeing again at some point this season?
Well, Wake Forest was a big one. They're currently number one in the country. LSU, which is in the top 3, I believe. But 14 of the 18 teams there were ranked in the top 26.
Man.
So that was pretty good. Got LSU, Florida, Auburn. Let's see, who else did we play with?
Well, and y'all finished, what, 8th in this one?
Well, we finished 8th, which was pretty good considering our first round we were sitting 14. So we had to do a little recovery. But, as we play an outside sport, so weather always plays a role. So it's the first time in my 23 years of coaching that we played our first round the same day as the practice round. So little schedule change, and ended up playing 36 holes that day. But, hey, golfers, we're creatures of habit, and we like our routine. So it's a great learning experience for even me as a coach, but definitely for the players to kind of disrupt their routines a little bit and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely got to react a little bit on the fly, that's for sure. But heck, number one team in the country, Wake Forest, you finished 4 spots better than them. So there you go.
We did. It's always good to see them in person rather than on paper and really see how we can compare against them. They did have a few injuries, but nonetheless, it's always good to get a win.
Amy, you said you've been coaching for 23 years. Can you give maybe one season that kind of comes memorable to you, and why?
Yeah. I would say the 2016-2017 season, we had a group of players that were number one in the country most of the year. And they won 6 times. But the most important thing about that group, 2 things. One, it was the group that it was a 2013 recruiting class. And we recruited that class saying, help us change the program. Help us make the program better and a national contender. And by the time this group was juniors, they had helped do that. So winning 6 times. And the biggest thing for me was all they wanted was gummy octopus and chocolate milk. And that's what made them go.
Hey,
so it was memorable. Yep. Hey, as a coach, if it works, you don't mess with it.
That's right.
It doesn't matter how weird it is, you got to do it. But the unfortunate thing about that year was the national championship was in Chicago and the weather was horrendous. We didn't play all that well in the cold and the rain coming down sideways. But memorable season for that. But at the same time, I learned more as a coach from that national championship because we really needed to do a better job of finding some more cold weather.
Yeah.
And playing in bad weather mainly.
You know, I see all these accomplishments here. 2017 ACC Coach of the Year. I mean, I can keep going and going. President of the Women's Golf Coaches Association of America, 2013 to 2016. Is there anything that you haven't accomplished yet that you want to accomplish in your coaching career?
For every coach, coaches want to get wins, right? Yeah. That's our big thing. Well, in golf, you lose a lot more than you win. Clearly for me, a conference championship, especially with all the rumors going around that we might be getting out of the ACC, changing conferences, things like that. Would love to get an ACC conference championship under my belt, and we have 5 runner-up finishes. But that national championship is certainly a carrot that's dangling. But I think my first priority is really the thing I'm most proud of as a coach is that all of my players have graduated except one.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that player was the world number 1 at the time, Frida Schinholt, who's now playing on the LPGA Tour. So I can kind of whisk that one away a little bit.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. But overall, I would say a conference championship would be, kind of icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But we're getting closer and closer at the national championship level that, you get to the point where if you finish in the top 5, you can almost taste it.
Yeah.
But it's little things here and there and a ball bouncing one way or another or a putt being made. So overall, I'm thrilled with how things have worked out. I've been surrounded by some great players and some great assistant coaches that have helped us to do what we needed to do.
Definitely. Y'all have been a national powerhouse. It sounds like that 2016 time frame is when you kind of made that turn and you haven't looked back since. Now, with the correct me if I'm wrong, the national championship will not be at Grayhawk this year. Is it at a new venue this year?
It is. We're continuing to move further west. And we're going out to the San Diego area in La Costa.
Okay.
Should be great venue. Rumor has it might not quite be done yet. And obviously with all the flooding that's going on out there, it could get interesting. But the University of Texas, I believe, is going to be the host in California. But it's due to be out there for the next 3 or 4 years.
Gotcha.
So as Grayhawk, I loved Grayhawk. I thought it was great. You didn't have to worry about the weather. And Grayhawk was pretty good to us, minus a couple of balls going in to the cup on number 9 multiple years. But we're excited to move further west and see what California will bring for us.
Yeah, so I asked that question to ask this question. With it being at a first-time venue, do you think that, quote-unquote, levels the playing field a little bit when you get down to those final 8 match play teams versus being, the second and third year at Grayhawk for the, teams that have been there year in and year out?
Oh, I would definitely agree with that. And the other good thing about La Costa is that no team can play it prior to the national championship.
Nice.
You used to be able to fly out to Grayhawk and play, regardless of what time of year it was, just as long as it wasn't a month before the championship. So you could go out and play. This one, nobody's been on unless they played it over a year ago. So I feel like it does give everybody equal playing field, and you won't have as many rounds. I mean, we were lucky that we played a lot of rounds on Grayhawk, and the more you played it, the better you got. But at the same time, this will be exciting because nobody will have set foot on it, and everybody's learning. You're trying to learn on the fly like you do every week of the year.
Yeah. No, I like that. I feel something special about this year coming up. I just feel with some changes and some different things, and so foreshadowing maybe for some excitement going on. Like you said, maybe the last year for Florida State being in the ACC, knock that off the belt, and go through regionals and see what happens.
Amy, this past weekend, Jordan Spieth had signed an incorrect scorecard and got disqualified. What's your thoughts about maybe potentially getting rid of that rule or keeping that rule? It's been a topic of discussion.
I mean, so many golf rules have changed over the last, little bit. And I'm kind of old-fashioned that I'd like to keep it, but at the same time, if it's an inadvertent error, I mean, you're taught as a kid, like, check your scorecard, check your scorecard, check your scorecard. But, when you sign for a higher score, you keep it.
Yeah.
And there's not a problem.
Yeah.
So there's different rules for different ones, but yet you get DQ'd if you sign for a lower score on a hole. Because they've changed the rules now, because even if I think it's if you don't sign your scorecard, you're not DQ'd.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because they have modified it a little bit in the last couple of years, but still, if you sign for that wrong hole-by-hole score, sign it, attest it, and then leave the scoring area, that's where you get that DQ action. Now, in the college tournaments, do you guys have walking scorers with you for every tournament, or is that more as you get closer to the conference championship and the regionals and NCAA championship?
That's really, it really pops into play in the postseason.
Okay.
I mean, like this past week, it was just in most tournaments, every 3 holes, there's a scorer sitting back there, and you give them the last 3 holes.
Yeah.
Per player, and of course, it's not.
Yeah, it's not your official score either. Yeah. Gotcha.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Yeah, it's just, like you said, you're old-fashioned, and that's what the game of golf is. It's been around for so long, and there's so many rules that are part of the tradition and the history in that, but we've been debating it quite a bit because it's like every other sport, on the professional level anyway, you have some kind of scorekeeping going on that's not quote-unquote your responsibility, and golf seems like it's the only one, but you do. Those groups on the LPGA and the PGA, they got walking scores with every group to verify, but at the end of the day, I guess it's still the player's responsibility, but definitely a tough one to swallow. That's for sure. That is for sure. But
heck yeah.
Speaking of players, talk about some of the. I know you've got a few that have been with you for a little while, but talk about some of your big time players you've got on the squad right now.
Well, currently we've got Lottie Woad, who is number 5 in the world. She's a sophomore. She's coming off of a National Freshman of the Year performance last year. And she's kind of stepped right back into the role. Her putting's really improved, which has created a whole new world for her because she's making a lot more birdies. Not that she didn't make a lot already, but she's even making more. We also have Charlotte Heath, who's currently, I believe she's sitting at 14 in the world, and she's a senior, so this is her 4th year with us, and Charlotte's continued to get better. She probably has the best short game of anyone I've ever had. Maybe the best college short game I've ever seen. And because she's short in stature, hits a probably average length golfer, but really has used her short game to her advantage over the last year and a half, making a commitment to it. And then our final one I'd talk about is the transfer that we got in. Her name is Mirabelle Ting, and she comes in at number 30 in the world. But I haven't had too many Asian players in my career. Actually, the only other one I've ever had was my teammate. from Japan way back in the day here at Florida State. And Mirabelle has been a wonderful addition, super cute personality, always kind of teasing, always got a smile on her face. And she's already comfortable enough to be mocking me and the things I say. At the dinner table, she's like, Coach, I don't want to hear that, you bought this for me and I didn't eat it. So watch me eat this. So it's little things, but the chemistry is so good. I mean, this group played I Spy on the way from the Guadalajara airport to the hotel. I haven't played I Spy since I was a little kid.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Absolutely.
But when they're that comfortable with each other and enjoying each other's company and everybody's just kind of laughing, it makes for a really fun, year for me as a coach. But also we laugh more than we do of anything else, which is a lot of fun.
Well, and how important, that the fact that you brought that up, how important is that culture and that bond you have as a team? Because as we all know, golf is a very intense, pressure-driven, stressful game. So to have that kind of lighthearted culture where you guys are all having fun and enjoying, when you're obviously not on the golf course competing.
You said bond, Ron.
Not there. Look, we'll play on words there. But yeah, so how important is that culture and, what you strive, because that's a big part of what you have to do and keep together as well. How important is that to the success on the golf course?
I think it's huge. I think it plays a role in everything. And that, for me as a coach, I don't make any decision on any player until they meet the team and let the team kind of to feel them out. But golf is such a serious sport, and we tend to focus a lot more on the negatives than the positives. And being able to surround yourself with like-minded people who can kind of laugh at themselves when they make the mistakes is fun, and know that, when they're on the golf course, they're serious, they're competitive, they're trying to beat everybody out there, including their teammates. But when you step off of it, you have a huge cheerleader that's right there with you along the way. And we've been very, very lucky over the years that we've had great chemistry, but it was very special for me to see that 3 weeks ago, because I wasn't sure how this five was going to fit together. And to see them, play I Spy, laugh, cut up, try different Mexican cuisines was really fun, because it got them out of their shell. Yeah. They're pushing each other to get out of that shell and be more comfortable around other people. Because we all know females, too, we're driven on self-confidence.
Yeah.
If we don't, most of us lack it. But to have a group of young women pushing each other in all the right ways and building that confidence on and off the golf course is something pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. And golf is unique, and kudos to you for doing it. But not only are you recruiting talent, you're also recruiting personalities that fit with what you have there at Florida State. And if, all it takes is, you could have a player come in with, the best talent in the world, but if that person doesn't jive with the rest of the team and they don't all feel comfortable with one another, that's not going to lead to overall team success.
No, I mean, they grow up. Golfers grow up as independent people. We're taking an individual sport and making it a team sport in college. And really, that may be their only opportunity outside of a Curtis Cup, a Solheim Cup, a Ryder Cup, a Walker Cup kind of situation.
Yeah.
So the personalities kind of have to match and mesh in a certain way. So it's fun for me at times, but like I said, I almost force my players to say, hey, I want to know if you want this player on your team. And I want it not because I want you to want them on your team, even if you know they're going to beat you, because it's going to make you better.
Absolutely.
But if there's something in their personality that you don't like, then I need to know about that. If they're a bad human being, tell me. But don't tell me they're a bad human being because they beat you all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those.
Right. Definitely. So what's next up on the docket? I think you guys are heading up close to my old neck of the woods, just across the river up there in Augusta, Georgia.
Yeah. I am. That's where we're headed. So we leave 2 weeks from today to head up to Augusta and play in Augusta's tournament at Forest Hills, which should be a great little 36-18 tournament. And then we're actually going up a day early to go play Old Barnwell, which is in Aiken.
Yep,
because we have a match play. We have a match play tournament up there later on, late in March. So we're going to go up there and just have a little fun and play. It's leading up to spring break, and then it's a quick turnaround because we play at Augusta Saturday, Sunday, come back Sunday night, and then we actually host here in Tallahassee. The teams will come in on Wednesday, and we'll play Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Believe it or not,
Time
things
already.
are flying.
Yeah,
I know.
that is
Spring break
nuts.
is here in 3 weeks.
That is nuts. I know John will be making the trip over for that, as I know he loves to help you all out with all that good stuff. But Caroline just had came in as the new women's golf coach with the last year I was up there at Mount Vintage Plantation. So I don't know if she remembers me or not, but if you get a chance, tell her I said hello. That's for sure, because I was very much involved with at the time was Augusta State with Zach Gregory and those guys when they won those back-to-back national championships. We did a lot of qualifying tournaments for them. So went to the banquets and all that good stuff. So always nice to see you guys making the trip up there. I was going to ask, but now that you said you're playing Old Barnwell there, if maybe y'all were going to get an opportunity, maybe to invite to go play Augusta National, because I'm assuming you're going to have a few players on your team that are going to get some invites to that Augusta National Women's Amateur.
I do. We have 3 that are committed to play. Got
awesome.
the invitations. Yep. So Lottie, Charlotte, and Maribel. So they're going to get that opportunity. It'll be Charlotte's 3rd time. It'll be Lottie's 2nd time, and Maribel's 1st.
Wow.
So they're pretty pumped. No, unfortunately, they'll never invite me to play Augusta National. But it is fun to walk around. It's a fun week for me. I'm going to go up and maybe do a tiny bit of recruiting at some of these young players that got invitations, but mainly I'm there to support the 3 girls that we have up there. And it's special because there's no pressure for me. Normally when they're playing for me, I'm like stressed out a little bit and trying to figure out how to help them get it in the hole quicker. But this time it's just enjoy the beauty of Augusta National, and the Augusta National committee, or the ANWA committee, does such a good job.
Yeah.
They really treat the girls great, and it's a special opportunity for them to play Champions Retreat, which is a wonderful golf course.
Absolutely.
And then in turn get to play 2 rounds. Well, I hope 2 rounds, a practice round and a regular round at Augusta National.
Yeah, definitely. Is this be your 3rd year in a row making the trip?
It will be, let's see, this is the 5th one.
3 or 4.
It's my 4th.
4th, that's right. Whew. Man.
I didn't go the first year. I sent my assistant, and I learned my lesson to not miss out. So it'll be my 4th time, and every time it's special. I mean, last year, one of ours, actually, we had 3 again, but the one that actually didn't make the cut made a hole-in-one on 16 in the practice round at Augusta National.
I remember that.
For her, it was great. Her dad screaming, "Give me the ball! Give me the ball! Give me the ball!" Don't hit it again.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man, just good stuff overall going on. We'll keep paying attention and reporting to our the Florida State faithful here that are in our ESPN Northwest Florida listening area, and maybe hopefully as you progress through the season, get you back on another time to preview and hopefully see how things are going leading up to that conference championship. But Amy, always a pleasure to have you on. Continued luck through the rest of the season. Know we are huge fans of you and the FSU women's golf team, and love to see everything that you've got going on.
Well, thank y'all so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's always fun talking to y'all. And Ryan, if your premonition comes true, you have already given me chills today. So
it's going to happen.
If that's the case, we might have to get you guys out to California to see it live.
Yeah, hey, no, I'm all for that. It's been an interesting year so far, so why not win a conference championship and win a national championship? We'll see if that comes to fruition. I know you guys got a good shot at it, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, and amen to that. And good Lord willing, we'll have that opportunity. But no matter what, we're going to go out and have a little fun and represent the Florida State faithful very well.
And that is what it's all about. Coach, we appreciate your time very much, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Thank y'all. Have a great one.
You do the same.
Go Noles.
You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick.
She's a great player, and I wonder, Caitlin Clark is 22. So 8-9 years ago, she's 13 years of age. She's already said that, Steph Curry had a huge influence on her. because we think they're bad shots, but they're not bad shots for her.
It's the Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia. Stop by Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sales event going on now and drive away the new 2024 Kia. Now offering 4.25% APR up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Bird Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,267 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/4/24.
Signworks, a business serving businesses since 1985. Everything from signs and banners, vehicles and boats, magnetic and real estate signs, contractor signs, and much more. Signworks can do large format, full color printing too. Signworks, a real professional in the business world. Call Signworks at 785-8899. Signworks, 850-785-8899.
Broadcasting live from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios.
Have a quick stretch first.
The Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
Must have pulled something playing hoops last week.
And Jay Henley.
I know you're not putting that rock up from here. You ain't got no Jay.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Baby, I've been in my rocket, taking off 3-2-1 caution.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN at Northwest Florida. Always good to talk to Coach Bond. It's just, I love hearing her perspective about, because golf is such a, we talk about it all the time. Golf is such a different team sport than all the other team sports we talk about because, like she said, it's so individual. It's just you playing it, competing against the golf course and all that stuff. So to hear her talk about how important it is for all her players to jive and mesh and get along is just it's refreshing to hear, and you can kind of feel the culture that she's built, and that's why she's had so much success in the last 8 years, is because she's putting that culture in the forefront. Obviously they're unbelievable golfers. She's got 2 ranked inside the top 10 in the world. Not just talking about college, you're talking about the world amateur women's golf rankings. So just always cool stuff, but I think this is going to be a special year for her. I know they've been close to a national championship many a time, but just haven't been able to get over the hump. But
it's an individual sport, like she said, and now you're doing the team sport thing, and it's like, how do you create that team atmosphere? And at the end of the day, it's still an individual sport. I mean,
you're not passing to anybody else on the team or anything along those lines, and and what they do can affect you too. If when you're playing, when you get further down the line in these tournaments, and that maybe one of your teammates just made a bogey or something like that, you may need to try to push a little harder. But a lot of times they don't even know what's going on because they're not playing together. They're playing with teams from other universities, and it's cool stuff. That's
and then the emotion. She's got to manage the emotions of 5 college women. I mean, or more than that. I mean, that right there alone is.
Well, and you heard her say it. She said it there, They're emotional. The self-confidence just naturally, unlike you, Jay Henley, who you just exude self-confidence. We feel it every day here on the Inside Drive, but not everybody has that. And golf, if you don't have confidence, you cannot play well. You have to be confident.
That's right.
Regardless if you're actually good or not. Confidence is key. It's like our good friend Jay Chapman will be joining us on the show here on Friday. He used to say, what is it? Always wrong, but never in doubt, something like that.
He did say that.
Something along those lines, but good times, that's for sure. So we ran a little long in that last segment, but always good conversation there with Coach Amy Bond. Don't forget, we'll have Keith Fleming coming up at the top of the hour. Get your DFS golf apps out, as he will be giving official alignment, talking about all the information with the new Vidanta course coming up. That'll be exciting. I did confirm, Ian sent me a text back, University Academy, the number 1 seed, seed, Bay Haven, the number 2 seed, Surfside, the number 3 seed, and Mowat will round out the top 4 girls soccer seeds going into the playoffs starting this Thursday, which is tomorrow. So UA will be playing Mowat at Public Sports Park right there, Field 1. Bay Haven will be playing Surfside. I don't know if Bay Haven has a home soccer field or not, but if they do, it's there. If not, it'll probably be at Public Sports Park or somewhere along those lines. So everything is set to go for tomorrow. Looking forward to that. That is for sure. Jay, real quick, we only got a few minutes. You want to talk about a little more? We talked about the MLB uniform stuff yesterday. There's a little bit of an update on that. Or do you want to talk a little bit about some of the special invites that just accepted some invites there at for the Masters coming up here in about 6 weeks?
Ooh. Let's play it. Let's go golf. I mean, the uniform thing's cool. But
we can kick that down later on the road. But yes, so Augusta National sent 3 special invitee invitations out there to the 2024 Masters. People that weren't qualified, but they do this every year. They send a few of those out as well. But those 3 gentlemen, the chairman of Augusta National, Fred Rivley, announced that Denmark's Thorborn Olsen, Japan's Rio Hisatune, and Chile's Joaquin Niemann have accepted invitations into the 2024 Masters. The Masters tournament has a long-standing tradition of inviting leading international players who have not otherwise qualified, Ridley said. Today's announcement represents the tournament's continued commitment towards developing interest in the game of golf across the world. We look forward to welcoming each player at Augusta National this spring. The reason why I think this is interesting, and I want to get your thoughts and opinions on it, is you know which tour Joaquin Niemann plays on, right?
Is it LIV?
He does. Okay. He plays on the LIV Tour. And he got a special invitation from Augusta National. Now, he's also a DP World Tour member, and he plays a little bit on the Asian Tour as well. But what do you think about that? What do you think about Augusta just being like, you know what, we don't care if they're on the LIV. We're going to invite them anyway.
Well, trying to bridge the gap, I guess, huh?
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe.
Leave it to one of the most powerful golf entities in the world, and that's the board of directors there at Augusta National. But cool to see Niemann. Obviously, he's played in several Masters tournaments as well. And, you know, one of the things I think they do this from an international standpoint, not that they need the media attention, but I think it brings in, you know, some Latin or South America, some Japanese. You're bringing in media from other countries, and I think that just kind of strengthens that Augusta National and Masters brand that they're trying to do. So cool stuff going on there. I remember when Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters a couple years ago? The media was just insane. And even when you remember, I think it's not Ryan.
Angel.
Yo Ishikawa. You remember him?
Yeah.
Ryo Ishikawa. Yeah. He was a kid when he played in his first Masters because he won the Asian Amateur, and that's an automatic exemption if you win the Asian Amateur. And the media, I was there for that one. The media was just absolutely crazy. But yeah, when the Duck won from Argentina before he went to the Clink, but now he's back playing some golf. Yeah. So
Danny Willett, he was did he win the?
Yeah,
he won the Masters.
Was it Danny Willett?
Danny Willett?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because somebody collapsed and he kind of hung tight on the back nine and ended up. He's from England, I believe.
England, yeah. One hit wonder, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Hey, but you win the Masters, guess what? You get to play the Masters every year for the rest of your life. Yes, you don't have to play any other golf tournament if you don't want to. You can just go play the Masters. But Olsen will compete in his 4th Masters and his first since 2019. He's made the cut in each of the previous 3 Masters that he's played in, including a tied for 6th finish in his tournament debut back in 2013. Last month, Olsen, 34, won the United Arab Emirates, making his 3rd consecutive DP World Tour season with a victory. He has had 5 top 10s in the last 7 worldwide appearances. So obviously this guy is not playing. Willett won the 2016 Masters. Thank you, David Hayes. There you go. Yeah. Somebody had a lead, and Willett kind of benefited from the collapse. I forget who it was, but he certainly... Spieth. That's right. He hit 2 balls in the water on number 12.
Yeah.
Golden Bell.
That's right.
And then Willett just kind of made a couple birdies coming in and ended up backdoor winning that tournament. And that's the thing about Augusta. There's a few ways to win. You can make that charge on Sunday and win, or you can collapse on Sunday and somebody else wins. And that's why that tournament's so much fun to watch. But yes, Thorborn Olsen is, go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just going to say, that's the cool part about Augusta, and I hope you might agree with me here, is you could almost have a 7-stroke deficit go into hole 10 and could win the tournament.
Absolutely.
Now, there's other tournaments throughout the year where that can't happen.
No.
And I don't know why that is, but Amen Corner.
I think it's just the layout of the golf course. I mean, if you can make, and that's what Phil did really when he went on to win a couple of his Masters, is he went on some serious charges. Because I mean, if you can par 10 and you can par 11, and then get through, maybe sneak a birdie in on 12, but at least make a par on that one. 13's a short par 5 that a lot of people are hitting irons into.
Right.
Got an eagle opportunity there. 14, people seem to make a lot of birdies because that pin is always down there on that back side where the ball really funnels to. And then of course 15's a short par 5. So I mean, you could really easily go eagle, birdie, eagle in a 3-hole stretch and just eat up 5 strokes just like that.
Yeah.
And then 16, a lot of opportunity with that hole location right over that bunker for that ball to just trickle down and make some stuff happen. But yeah, I would agree with you. I think there's not a lot of other golf courses that you have an opportunity on the last few holes on the back 9 to make something happen. And I think it's a testament to the layout of the golf course, and they do that. There's nothing like those roars on the back 9 on Sunday. I mean, you hear them all throughout the Pines. I mean, you could be over on hole, walking back up to the clubhouse, and you can hear exactly when somebody hits a shot out there on 13. And it's just, if you're a golf fan, it's just going to get better than that.
I got chills the first time I witnessed that in 01 with Tiger. You know, is you hear those roars and like you get chills.
I'm getting chills now thinking about it.
I know, and it's almost like the first lap of Daytona 500 here in the roar of the engines. It's the chill bone, the bone chilling, I guess you'd call it.
Bone chilling probably not the right one. Chili bumps or whatever you call it. Because bone chilling is more morbid, right?
Well, that's true. Yeah, I guess.
But we know what you're saying.
But
we know what you're saying. But nothing compares to Augusta National, that's for sure. So good luck to those 3 competitors. And just real quick before we have to hit our break, Neiman, he's 25. This is his 5th Masters appearance. So it's not like he's shy to Augusta National, even though he was the reigning Latin American champion back in 2018, and he was the #1 ranked amateur in the world. So it's not like these 3 gentlemen are not accustomed to golf. So 3 great international invitees there. 83 players have been invited to compete in the 2024 Masters, with the main 2 qualification criteria being winners of PGA Tour events and 50 leaders on the official Golf World Rankings, which pretty much eliminates LIV Tour players that aren't already qualified from some other way. But we got several LIV Tour players that will be playing in the Masters. We'll talk a lot more about that as we get closer to Masters Week. When we get back, we'll be joined by Keith Fleming to go over all of our golf DFS action, previewing this next tournament coming up, and I'm anxious to see what his story is going to be. You're listening to The Inside Drive. We'll be right back with the Afternoon Delight Debrief.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. Caitlin Clark, Iowa star, broke the NCAA women's hoop scoring record. She's the biggest star in college basketball, men's and women's. TV ratings, they just beat a Miami-Boston Celtic game about 3 weeks ago. Why? One of the reasons, she's now familiar.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your forecast on this Wednesday. Sunshine this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze out of the south-southwest around 8 miles per hour, and look for the high to be 66. Tonight, there will be mostly clear skies with the temperature reaching 54. Mostly sunny tomorrow with a high of 66. This weather is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair's gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper Heavy Duty Dry Cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
And now the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
We're going to have a talk. Tell me what you know.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
It's a frantic noise.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida, sitting inside these beautiful Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine and Outdoor Studios. I won't go into the whole spiel, but go check them out at the corner of 23rd and Frankford Avenue. You will not be disappointed. They can pretty much do anything you need to do with a vehicle or a boat. Sell it, buy it, fix it, trade it, whatever it may be, they can make it happen. It's Wednesday. That means Keith Fleming is on the line with us. But what's exciting, not only are we going to be talking about DFS golf action, but Keith is going to continue the Afternoon Delight debrief for us. Keith, how are you on this beautiful, hopefully it's beautiful up there in Atlanta Wednesday?
It actually is really nice, which is fantastic considering we just went to Florida for 4 days for a vacation, and it rained 3 of the 4 days the entire time. But good to see, when you get back and vacation's over, nice and sunny outside. But that's life.
Yeah, that's Florida. That's the gamble. It does rain quite a bit. Not as much as California's raining right now, that's for sure. I don't know. It's probably good that the West Coast swing has come to an end.
Did you have fun at Daytona, Keith?
I did. I didn't go to the 500 on Monday. My wife and Dad went. They had a blast. We went over on Saturday when they originally were supposed to have the other race, and it ended up getting rained out. But it was really cool to go through like the fan experience, see a lot of the cars, and we went on the track. I had, no idea of just the embankments and how steep they are. It is crazy to be standing on it, and you realize that maybe this is how these guys go 180 miles an hour in a circle, and you're not just ran into the wall all the time, because it definitely is quite a steep incline. I believe they said the highest one was like 3 stories, which is turn 4, which if you think about it, that is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Well, somebody said if you took your car that you drive in daily, you have to maintain at least 45 miles an hour or the car will tip. I mean, it'll flip over on the bank. I mean, that's how.
Completely believe that.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, it is insane. Like, what was really not funny, but just watching people try to walk up it when it had been raining and stuff. And I mean, if you weren't in good shape, it was not easy to walk up it just in general.
Yeah.
And watching people have to pull each other up really drove home just how much of a, and again, the embankment, it's really high.
Well, and the first time, too, I've only ever been to the Daytona 500. That's the only NASCAR race I've ever been to. And just how big, the magnitude of the scale of the size of the track that they are racing on. And I know there's the short tracks at Martinsville and Bristol and all that, but just, the magnitude of how big of a space it takes up is pretty insane as well.
It looks like a big D from the sky. There's a big D.
Good. Good, Jay. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move right along after that comment. And what do you got today for us, Keith, on the Afternoon Delight debrief?
So I love this idea. I am somebody who enjoys hearing the weird, the gross, et cetera type stories. And I got one that, I want to apologize beforehand for telling everyone about this, because it's probably going to give you nightmares and you might lose some sleep over it. But a man in Florida earlier this week, and of course it had to be a man from Florida.
Of course, Florida man is it's a real thing.
He was a patient that all of a sudden started noticing that his face was swelling. It felt like it was on fire. His lips swelled. He said he could hardly talk. He couldn't even get up to go to the bathroom without his nose starting to bleed. So when he went to the hospital, they called in an ear, throat, and nose specialist. And the doctor, Dr. Carlson, was obviously shocked when he saw dozens and dozens of bugs feeding on the nose and sinus cavities. Some as big as your pinky finger, He knew he was in big trouble. There was erosion that was occurring near the skull base,
Ooh, that's
very
not
close to his eye and his brain. At first, they tried to suction the insects out of there who were still in the larval stage, but they were too large, so they had to extract them one by one from the man's nose. They were right up against, again, his skull base, right underneath the brain. Had they gone through, they could have killed him.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we know that the bugs have been sent to a specialist to see exactly what kind of bugs they are, to figure out, is this something that we have to worry about and is going to be common?
Yeah.
But again, up to 150 bugs and lava eggs inside the dude's nose. He started feeling symptoms in October, but it got really bad, obviously, here in this last week. Went to the hospital, and the doctor said it was the last thing he ever expected to find was the issue.
Moral of the story, if your body is telling you something's not right, go to the doctor. Because it sounds like they had been laying eggs and manifesting and all that. Just everything about that sounds absolutely terrible. But that's a great afternoon delight debrief. And Jay, what's your thoughts on that situation?
I know I'm trying to eat back there.
I know. David's back there eating some Cheez-Its and
white cheddar cheese. Yes. Yeah. Yikes. I don't even know what to say. I mean,
we've only been doing this for 3 days, and we've covered a lot of ends of the spectrum, that's for sure. Yesterday, David's bringing up a story with people sticking antiques up their butt and then putting them back on the shelves, and now we got 150 bugs and larva eggs inside a person's head. I mean, how do you even fit all that in there?
I don't know.
I guess if they eroded and ate out all the your cartilage and the stuff in that cavity. But I mean, October is when he started feeling symptoms, is what you said, Keith?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I might have got myself checked out before then. I don't know.
What part of Florida?
I think he said, was it Melbourne that you said?
Okay.
It actually doesn't say. It just says that it's a Florida man, which I just love that.
Yeah, no.
Because everything is a Florida man.
There's some. I think it's just because Florida is such a mosh posh of people from all over the country that we get a lot of crazy stuff happening down here in Florida. I mean, we could just live off of Florida man stories and do this segment every day, but whew. Man, I don't know. That's a icky one. That's for sure.
Also, maybe clean out your nose.
Yeah. Blow your nose. If my nose was stuffy, I typically blow, but I don't know. Wild. Yes,
see
Jay.
more
Maybe
U-turn.
some nasal spray would have helped.
Yeah. The old neti pot that probably would have took care of some things early.
Jacksonville.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
J-Pill.
Yeah.
Duval.
I couldn't say Duval with all those bugs in his nose. He couldn't talk.
Gosh.
What were you going to say, Jack?
No, I was just going to say I see more U-turns around here than ever on 4-lane roads where somebody just all of a sudden just decides, okay, I'm going in the wrong place. Yeah. And I'm just going to U-turn. I see it right here on Thomas Drive all the time. Try to do that anywhere else. There's a cop going to pull you over and probably put you in jail for 24 hours. But anyway.
And it's like they don't even pay attention to the other people around them. They're like, oh, crap, I got a U-turn. I'm just going to do it. Everybody else can figure it out.
I see it every day. Every day.
Well, it's like in New Jersey, like on our main, like 98, for example, which would be like Route 10 in New Jersey or something like that. Like you could never turn left. There was no left turns. You would have to get off the road to the right, and then you'd go around to a traffic light in order to go straight across, making your left turn, just because it was so dangerous.
Yeah.
But down here, you've got medians and stuff everywhere.
Right.
I'm anxious about my kids learning to drive down here, because if you can learn to drive down here in Panama City Beach, you can learn how to drive anywhere.
You got that right.
Try Atlanta.
No. That's a whole nother. You should have to get your own type of license to drive up there in Atlanta. That's for sure.
You have to be aggressive and at the same time, obviously, tentative, which is really hard to explain to people. But I mean, if you're not, you're going to get hit because there are so many morons driving up here doing a million different things. And something that we really see up here is the interstate, same type deal where somebody will basically miss the exit and cut across, or I've even seen cars backing up on the interstate Say, go to an exit. I'm like, you can go down one other exit and turn around, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that big of a deal.
When GPS has messed things up big time.
Yeah, it took the skill out of knowing direction and driving. That's a whole topic for a whole nother day. As we relying on this technology. I mean, I've been in New York City several times, and riding with a New York City cab driver, that's a whole different breed of driver because those people will do anything.
Do they bump people?
Yeah, literally.
That's crazy.
Yeah. One of my dad's good friends, he was in the Navy with him. He's recently passed away, but he was a taxi cab driver in Las Vegas. And when we went out to Vegas for my 21st birthday, he picked us up for the airport and drove us around. And it was terrifying. It was terrifying.
Same thing for D.C. D.C. is another one where we rode with a guy that it was the most impressive thing I'd ever seen. Like, it was a skill the way he drove. It was terrifying the entire time, but he was trying to fight traffic and get, us to where we were going. And I seriously, like, I'm not normally a backseat driver, but there were several times that I wanted to be like, hey, dude, like, can we not go through the intersection as it's red 3 times? We're going to get killed here in a minute. So
one of our listeners, Caveman Rick, he said, ask about some of the roads near Atlanta that change direction during the time of the day. There's one near Stone Mountain near Snellville. So, So there's roads that you're going one way at one time of the day, and then they switch. Now, I'm guessing that probably has
downtown
to do with
Atlanta has the same thing
with the flow of rush hour traffic. Is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, it's like 3 lanes. So 2 will be going one direction at one time, and then 2 will be going the other direction at another time, but they don't exactly have notifications and markers everywhere. And if you happen to miss one, let's just say that I've seen, some things. And same deal with, one-ways that run all the way through downtown Atlanta, especially right near City Hall. Once a day, I'll see somebody turn down the wrong way with everybody, waving their hands and honking the horn. And it's always funny to see how long it takes a dum-dum to realize that they're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we just had somebody get pulled over and arrested for driving the wrong way down 98. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but yeah. But with all that good stuff being said there, Keith, what do you want? You want to recap a little bit about last week, get your thoughts on the Genesis Open, and then we can jump into the Mexico, the Mexico Open at Vidanta?
Yeah.
Which the Vidanta, I was talking earlier on the show, is when I was with Kemper Sports at the time, they were managing the Vidanta courses. So the one in Nuevo Vallarta, which I think is where this is being competed at, is the great golf courses.
Yeah, and this is a Greg Norman course, 3rd time that they've played a PGA Tour event there. But last week, overall, plays were really good. The Jason Day top 10 prop hit. Very disappointed that the Will Zalatoris to win was spoiled by Hideki going bananas
62
on Sunday.
Come on.
And my favorite part was him then saying, at least the translator said, that he felt like he shot 75 on Sunday as he actually shot 62. So not sure how that math works up. Maybe it's different in Japan.
Maybe it was lost in translation there on what actually happened.
I mean, even the announcer, to her credit, that asked the question was like, wait a minute, what? And he reaffirmed that was what he meant. So, but it was, really not a great tournament for watching. Tiger obviously withdrawing with an illness. Justin Thomas just preventing me from winning a ton of money in DFS. Thanks a lot, JT. He's probably on the "you're dead to me" list now. Golfers that I don't care how good the course is for them, I just can't trust them. Literally, you only have to, beat 21 golfers of 71 to make the cut, and you couldn't do that. But I'm not bitter about it or anything.
No. Well, I picked. I was looking for something because I didn't have any good action really, and with football being over, so my dumb butt bet on Patrick Cantlay. But he was only minus 105 to win starting Sunday before he teed off, and he had a 2-stroke lead. And I thought, okay, this isn't, it's not like a plus 800 or anything like that.
That is now for Cantlay. This is now 6 times that he's had a lead of 5 shots. Going into the weekend, he is 0 for 6.
Yeah, I'm never ever
coming away with a W in that
again.
event.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. Yeah,
very tough, and it again just shows that closing is a total, different thing.
Yep.
And if you look, most of Cantlay and Xander, in fairness, their top 5s and stuff come from them coming back over the weekend when there's not a lot of pressure. and both of these guys have had real issues winning tournaments when they've had a lead and a chance on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's a great point. There's two different ways to win a golf tournament. We were talking a little bit about it when we were talking about Augusta National in the last segment and why Augusta is so special, because you have an opportunity to gain 5 or 6 strokes at the drop of a hat the way the course is set up. Because we were talking about Danny Willett, who won back in 2016, who basically won because, did we determine who it was? That Jordan Spieth collapsed and
hit it in the water twice.
On 12 on
12. The par 3
on Golden Bell. But yeah, I mean, and so there's multiple ways to win a golf tournament, and like you said, some of these guys just aren't closers when they have a lead, and some guys are guys that come from the behind, and you feel less pressure.
Jeff Ogilvy in the U.S. Open that Phil Mickelson famously, I'm an idiot, I can't believe what I just did.
Left on 18. I was there for that one.
He had been finished. I believe Ogilvy was finished for almost 2.5 hours by the time Mickelson got to the 18th tee.
Yeah, it was wild, that's for sure. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, besides JT, and JT kind of showed us that last year. We talked about it at length. It's just, is he ever going to get it back? And he showed some signs of playing a little bit better golf the last couple months, but then in that signature event when the pressure was on at a difficult golf course, it just seemed to get the best of him, that's for sure.
And by the way, he won his PGA Championship. I know he won it in a playoff, but he put that score up when he seemed to be out of contention 2 years ago, and then obviously did win in the playoff versus Mito, but not Mito, but Zalatoris. And it's just another example of a lot of these guys, they win the tournament really playing with little to no pressure in their final round.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you have the lead, it's the old adage, you're supposed to win, versus if you're 3 or 4 back, you're not supposed to win. So you can be more aggressive and feel less pressure, because if you don't win, you weren't leading to begin with.
And that's why Tiger's the GOAT.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The way that he's been able to close victories, it's a foregone conclusion if he has a lead going into Sunday. And even the other greats, all-time greats like Jack and players like that, their record with the lead going into Sunday is nowhere near. And I think if you ask any golfer, even at an amateur level, they understand it's so much harder to win when you have the lead. You have to do this, and maintain this lead and play well to get the victory than it is to come from behind.
Yeah, absolutely, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, you knew when Tiger was wearing red on Sunday, and that's not Sunday, that's just a regular Sunday, one word. You just knew that guys weren't going to catch him, and he had that mental advantage over him because he just didn't make mistakes when he was in his prime. He never played conservative golf either. He still always kept his foot on the gas, and it was just I think probably an era of golf we may never see again from somebody.
They just announced a few minutes ago that Charlie's going to do a Monday qualifier for this Cognizant Classic. Have you seen that yet?
He's trying to Monday qualify for the former Honda Classic.
Yeah. I mean, what is Charlie? Is he 14, 15?
I have no idea, but
don't bet against him.
Yeah.
He shot I believe it was the week before the father-son. It was a 65, I think, at Sawgrass in a tournament, and that was from the back tees playing like 7,500 yards.
That was going to be my question, because that's the big difference between what he's doing at a high school and junior golf AJGA level is the yardage that they're playing. From the AJGA level, 14 and up, they play from 7,000 plus, but it's not the Honda Classic anymore because it's now the Honda Live Tour.
Right.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he shoots. But that's the tough thing about Monday qualifying for the PGA Tour is you're going to have to go out there and shoot a 62 or a 63.
Right.
Maybe not at this one because the Palm Beach Gardens and PGA National, the course they play on here, is a very, very difficult golf course. So maybe not as challenging. But hey, if Tiger's starting to slide out of the limelight a little bit, might as well throw Charlie in there.
My personal opinion though, when you're this young,
is this Michelle Wie all over again?
Yeah, Ty Tryon. I mean, all these guys back in the day.
Ty Tryon was on one of the Tiger Woods video games.
I remember that.
You remember that?
Yep, I sure do.
Now I think he's selling insurance or something.
He is.
In fairness, though, Tiger played in a professional event at this age, and I think that if he qualifies, he's still playing in junior events, and he's been winning a bunch of them. So I don't think it's something where you're going to see him immediately start playing on tour, but I think, if he's following his dad's footsteps and, the program that he had, and Tiger's even waited to get him playing, competitive golf even longer than he did.
Yeah.
I think that I believe that this kid's got a very good chance to be one of the few people that can kind of live up to the hype of having a dad that's so great, because we've already seen his swing is basically perfect. But the big thing is just Tiger was had such an advantage from a mental capabilities, and I think that he knows how to teach somebody that, right?
Yeah.
Like how to play the game of golf and, deal with the pressures and stuff. And that's a huge leg up for Charlie on top of all the resources because of the money.
Yeah, and also, Keith, I think if you see him qualify, let's say he does qualify, is this not the perfect timing for Tiger just to pass the crown on to Charlie at this point? And do you even see, Tiger even progressing his career, even at, 48 or whatever, how old he is?
I've been saying for a while that if I was him, I would basically play the Masters, the Open Championship, and then if there's a couple other events he wants to play. But that's all I would be playing in, because, the walking is the real issue. I think that's
Jay
what
was
people
talking about that the
understand.
other day, yeah.
The difficulty for that, and he would never get, a special exemption like that they have given for like U.S. Opens and stuff in the past. That's just, he said publicly he's not in for that. But I mean, I do think that, for the Masters and the Open Championship, where so much of it is experience and know how to play the golf courses, he still, wants to chase Jack's record. I don't think he's going to get to it, but I think he saw with the 15th that everyone that he can clip off, even if it's just one more, it's going to make it easier and easier for those like myself who say he's already the greatest golfer of all time. I think the closer he is to that number, the better chance he has of, not that it really matters because it's just people's opinions, but, going down as the greatest ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Keith, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back into it, we'll continue the conversation and then start previewing the Mexico Open at Vidanta. You're listening to The Inside Drive. Keith Fleming on the line. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the Inside Drive.
Did you know that the Super Bowl halftime performers do not actually get paid? David did. I didn't know that.
Just recently I figured that out, and that's basically because of all the promotion that they get out of it.
Yes, it's what they're getting paid is that brand equity and brand awareness. Apple Music pays the NFL $50 million.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good afternoon. This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida. The rest of the day, sunny and a temperature of 66 with wind 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the south-southwest. Mostly clear skies tonight, a light breeze and warm near 54. Mostly sunny and 66 tomorrow. 69 and a slight chance of rain showers in the early morning, and then mostly sunshine with a moderate breeze Friday. This is your Wednesday's weather brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. Keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
The only place to get sports betting coverage on the radio. Is this legal? Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet Buick GMC and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios. It's the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. We committed to the main guitars coming in there before we came back on the segment. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We're joined on the line, as we are every Wednesday, by Keith Fleming, DFS expert. You can follow him on Twitter Twitter, also known as X, at Keith Fleming, 2 M's in the Fleming. And he's currently doing a really cool giveaway. He's got a lot of cool stuff he does as he gains followers there on the Twitter platform. But Keith, tell him a little bit about that real quick before we jump into the Mexico Open.
Sure. I appreciate each and every one of my followers for supporting my content, work, etc. So I do give away sports memorabilia, like autograph cards, etc. It's been about every 100 followers. I'm not going to lie, if it keeps going up this quickly, we might have to adjust and not do it quite for every 100. But I love the reminder of just how great social media and awful social media can be, because obviously all these people have been, following me in the last few days since doing the most recent giveaway. But I had a guy write in, literally his comment was, "This is all junk. Maybe give away something nice, and then I'd follow you." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. Appreciate that."
That's the beauty of the block button. But yeah, so you got one of those going on right now, and all you got to do is like the post and comment a number 1 through however many followers you're at.
2,200.
2,200
right now. And we will be, I'll be drawing the winner tonight. So
there you go.
If you want to try to get in for this one, I will be doing another one real soon. Be sure to follow me, and then you'll see the post pinned at the top of my page. You just need to like it, be following me, and then comment with the number 1 through 2,200. And the person closest to the winning number will get to pick from any of those items. And some of them are like a Miko Hardman UGA autographed PSA card. We got... I'm trying to think, there's a Man City jacket, and then there's some other autograph cards. John Collins, I know, is on there, and a few others, including Cordell Stewart from the Steelers.
The Slash. Played at Colorado. Yeah, that's some great stuff there, that's for sure. All right, let's dive right into it, Keith. It is not obviously a signature event. They got the big, as it was mentioned, the Cognizant Classic at Palm Beach over there at PGA National next week. But what are we looking at here with the Mexico Open at Vidanta?
So we got the first event outside of the U.S. in 2024. This event debuted in 2022. It's a Greg Norman course. It's a pretty straightforward layout, second course shot. It's been dominated by the favorites the first 2 years, with John Rahm winning the initial one, Tony Finau winning last year. They were first and second in the lowest odds to win the events, being the favorite those years. But with Rahm being absent, it's basically Finau, and that's it in this field, because Will Zalatoris withdrew as well, leaving only 6 players ranked inside the top 60 in the official world golf ranking. This course is a true bomber's paradise, playing over 7,500 yards. Again, very wide fairways, moderate rough. If you look, like long hitters, Rahm, Finau, Kitayama, and Cameron Champ have contended it in both years. It gives credence to the narrative of chasing the longest drivers and looking for best long iron players at this event. The stats I really looked at was driving distance, not strokes gained off the tee, but just literally driving distance, and ball speed, because you need to be able to carry it here. Strokes gained approach, strokes gained ball striking, strokes gained tee to green recent 4, birdie or betters gained, bogey avoidance, proximity from 175 plus. There's a ton of bunkers on the course, so sand saves gained, and then comp course history. The top 10 course and total yardage last season, you look at some of the guys that have been playing really well. Again, we're looking for distance. So those guys coming into this are like Cameron Chance, Alejandro Tosti, Goddard Hogart, Colin Tarrant, Garrick Higo, Jonathan Vegas, Pearson Coody, Sam Stevens, and Taylor Pendriff. It features 3 par 3s of 195 plus yards, 4 long par 5s, and 6 par 4s over 450 yards. Again, this is a long golf course. 35% of the approaches last year were from over 200 yards out. That's double the PGA Tour average for a golf course. So you're looking for players who excel from 200 plus yards. The top 10 in the field for that are Keith Mitchell, again, Colin Tarrant, Tony Finau, Carson Young, Paul Barron, S.H. Kim, Davis Thompson, Charlie Hoffman, Matt Wallace, and J.J. Spahn. I mean, if you're looking from a kind of a simple perspective, which is what I did, if I'm just looking for guys that have elite distance, guys that are ball strikers, and then looking at course history. And the top 5 in the field in driving distance is Alejandro Tosti, Sam Stevens, Cameron Champ, Patrick Rogers, and Vincent Norman. The strokes gained the last 24 rounds is Jonathan Vegas, Eric Van Ruin, Taylor Pendrith, Tony Finau, and Doug Gim. And then course history, which again, total strokes gained. There's only been 2 years, so it's kind of a small sample size, but Tony Finau, Brandon Wu, Davis Riley, Cameron Champ, and Patrick Rogers. Once again, I did 10 plays for DK, and then those guys are the ones I'm also placing bets on, but I'll just go through the lineup first, starting with Nikolai Holgaard at 10,700. He is 14-1 to win, plus 360 to top 5. Again, this tournament has been dominated by favorites, with Rahm and Finau winning the first 2 editions. But I'm going with Hogarth over Finau because he's considerably cheaper on DraftKings, and he has much better betting odds, especially when you consider Hogarth is playing the best of anyone in the field. The one concern with him is he's never played this event, but he's been playing amazing golf over his last 10 events, including one win, 4 other top 5 finishes, including a runner-up at the Farmers Open. When looking at comp course history, he's second in the field in total strokes gained. He's top 10 in the field in that driving distance category. Third in total strokes gained combined on Caribbean courses. The Puerto Rico Open and Bermuda Championship have close leaderboard correlation to the Mexico Open. I leaned into that a lot. My favorite play and bet this week is Jake Knapp, 8,600. He's 40-1 to win, plus 850 to top 5, and plus 420 to top 10. If you don't know who this kid is, he is one of the next up-and-comers. He dominated the Korn Ferry last year, 10 top 10 finishes on his way to claiming his PGA Tour card. And through his first 4 PGA starts, he is averaging a nuclear 186 miles per hour ball speed off the tee.
Jeez.
As I mentioned, this venue is long with a generous layout featuring wide fairways, making his elite speed and driving distance a huge advantage. He's already demonstrated his talents and abilities in just 4 events on tour. With his last 2 events, he had a T23 finish at the Waste Management. That followed up his T3 finish at the Farmers Open. But he's more than just a bomber. In those 2 events, he gained over 4 strokes on the field on approach, was very good with long irons in those events, and positive strokes in both around the greens and in putting. I really like Jake Knapp. I think he's got a great chance to win this week. He has a lot of confidence, and it would be surprised if he's not in contention. I think he's a real value at 8,700. Cam Champ is next in my lineup, 8,600. I also like having him at 50-1 to win, plus 450 for a top 10. He's a scary guy to include in your DK lineup, because he just misses cuts. He misses as many cuts as any player I can remember who has won multiple events on tour. We're not just talking about 2. I think he has 4 career wins. He missed the cut in 4 straight events heading into this. So, again, it makes it a little scary. And you might be asking, well, why is he in his lineup? Because last year he had missed 8 straight cuts heading into this event before he finished top 10 for the 2nd consecutive year. He hits the ball a mile off the tee, ranked 4th in driver distance. He's 3rd in strokes gained total at this venue, and he's not known for his putting. In fact, he's kind of considered a bad putter. But the Paulsbolium Greens, which is what they're playing this week at the Mexico Open, is the only surface that he historically gained strokes at .4 gained. Next up, we got Alejandro Tosti, 7,800. He is 55-1 to win, 12-1 to top 5. Have you seen this guy? This is his first year on tour. Do y'all know anything about him?
I know a little bit about him. I've seen some things pop up through social media, but not a ton.
So I don't want to say he has the kind of talent that Jon Rahm does, because he doesn't. But he does have the distance and physical tools that Rahm does. And his temper's even worse. Like, he's almost like a Draymond Green. He was actually suspended for behavior on the course. I believe it was for 1 or 2 events on the Korn Ferry last year. He's 1st in the field in driving distance, which is such a big deal to me. And then what I really like is, despite being a Korn Ferry member, he finished T10th at this event last year. He shot 65 on Sunday to finish the tournament at -13. It's a risky play because he's had a rough start to his PGA Tour career, but it's mostly due to inconsistent iron play, and he's been not driving it very accurately. Well, the good news is at this event, you didn't have to worry about driving accurately because there's wide fairways, moderate rough. He's going to be bombing it on this golf course. I mean, you're going to see some massive drives from him. And so with that, and it's been such an event that is tailored to these long hitters, plus it being a weak field, he's got a previous top 10. I'm willing to take the risk. I think there's extreme upside this week.
Yeah.
All right, next we got Jonathan Vegas, 7,600, 11-1 to top 5, 5-1 to top 10. He's been injured for a long time. He finally appears to be healthy. He's been showing flashes of a return to his, previous form. Was a really good player there in the late 2010s. In his last event at the Waste Management, he finished 22nd. It was his lowest finish in quite some time. But the big thing was his ball striking numbers. He gained 7.2 strokes on the field in ball striking, 3.8 off the tee, 3.2 on approach. And he plays really well on these coastal Paspalum courses. Again, he finished second at the Puerto Rico Open in 21, fourth at the Corrales Punta Cana in 2022. Both of those venues, high leaderboard correlation to Mexico Open. And for anybody that doesn't know what that means that players do well there. They also typically do well at this course, just like last week, players that do well at Augusta. Hello, Hideki, who's won a Masters and does well there. They end up doing well at the Genesis. And in his last 24 rounds, he's second in strokes gained ball striking in the field, and he's 22nd in driving distance. All right, rounding up the official lineup. I'm going to butcher this name. That's okay.
There's a lot of them in this one.
Dumont de Chassert.
That was good. That was good.
Did I get it right?
That was some David Hayes pronunciation right there.
Your boy can survive. He's 6,300 on DK, 11-1 to top 10, plus 450 to top 20. Another young kid with just a ton of talent. The 23-year-old Belgian. I'm sure you probably don't know who he is yet, but you will, because he is a really good player because he possesses the desired trait that we've been talking about over and over again. He's elite off the tee in strokes gained and driving distance. In his last start, he's gained 4 strokes just off the tee at the Waste Management, and that's, of course, a lot of bombers play in it. He's a proven winner on the Korn Ferry Tour who will be allowed to let his driver loose this week at the Mexico Open, again, with those wide fairways. Love his value for DK at 6,300. All right, just a few other real quick plays. Taylor Pendrith is actually probably my official play to win this event. He's 9,600 on DraftKings. 25-1 to win, plus 550 to top 5. He is tailor-made for this golf course. He hits it a mile, really good long iron player. He plays well on this surface. I really like Pendrith. I expect him to be in contention. One of my real sleepers is Davis Thompson, 8,900 on DK. It sucks that he is, again, in a weak field, only getting 35-1 odds when normally he would be getting like 90-1.
Jay's over here dropping dollars on the Hard Rock bet. I can see it live.
He's better because he's plus 750 to top 5. Davis played well here last year. He's played really well on these easy courses. He's played really well on Caribbean courses. And his game is really trending in the right direction. Sam Stevens, 7,100. He's 10-1 to top 5, plus 450 to top 10. Again, has a pretty good track record at this event. One of the longest hitters on tour. In case you hadn't noticed, I'm leaning heavily on guys with distance because that's been the model that we've seen the last 2 years. I understand Finau and Rahm were both heavy favorites, one of the 2 heavy favorites and won it, but they're also elite in distance off the tee. And then rounding it out, I almost used him for my official lineup, but I just think it's a little too risky, is Kevin Dorsey, another one of these guys who's just earned his PGA Tour card, hits it a country mile. He's 5,500 on DK. 10-1 to top 10, 4-1 to top 20. Another guy that just has so much talent and just hits the ball so absurdly far. These guys all have so much distance. And I think that this is going to be the event that really kind of kickstarts his PGA Tour career, and I could see him easily getting a top 10 or top 20.
Nice. Real quick, Keith, can you just read off your official alignment one more time for all of our listeners that may want to just hit the old Control-C, Control-V when they're doing their DraftKings?
Sure, absolutely. So we got Nikolai Hogart, 10,700. Jake Knapp, 8,600. Knapp's 8,700. Cameron Champ is 8,600. Alejandro Tosta is 7,800. Jonathan Vegas, 7,600. And then rounding it out with Adrian Dumont de Chassert at 6,300, the young Belgian.
I really just wanted to hear you say his name one more time. And you nailed it again. That was impressive. But yes, no, great stuff there. I know we only got about a minute left. I just want to ask you one quick question. When it comes to tournaments like this versus, for example, the tournament last week, which was a signature event, and then these are, you would almost call them like not almost like an off event, so to speak.
This is like an opposite field event.
Yeah, it really is.
Looking at the players. Yeah.
It really is. Is it more difficult to come up with your official lineups and your stuff that you're trying to do for DK in tournaments like this, or is it easier like next week in the, I don't even know what it's called, we're just going to call it the Honda Classic one more time, or does it really matter? Just curious your process with that.
I think it's easier when it's a better field and a course that obviously has been played longer. The big issue with the Mexico Open is we've only had 2 tournaments here. So there's not a lot of course data, which is something that I really dig into. Like, I believe it's huge to have course history. I'm talking about multiple times of playing event and playing it well for me to, just move them right to the top. But if you notice, I went pretty risky. Like, I did.
Yeah,
but I went with guys with a lot of upside that I think that in this weak field, it's not that risky. Because you're going to see all these missed cuts for a lot of them, but they've been playing much tougher fields and missing the cut where it's so much harder to hit fairways, and that's so important to scoring well. And at this course, it's really just about distance because it's, again, 7,500 yards, long par 4s, long par 3s, long par 5s. I want guys that can move it. And like I said, Jake Knapp, Taylor Pendriff, really like those guys. They're probably my 2 favorite bets this week.
Yeah, great stuff there, Keith. Real quick, Jay.
Don't lie, Keith. You got NASCAR in your backyard this Sunday. You going after being at Daytona this weekend? Oh,
no,
come
my dad
on.
is going down.
Is he?
Come on, Jay.
Yeah, I got you.
Get it together.
I'll be playing golf, Joe. It's going to finally be like 65 degrees on a weekend. Like, I'll be playing golf.
Don't blame you.
It's about that time. Spring is right around the corner. Go follow Keith Fleming on X, Twitter, whatever you call it. It's at Keith Fleming 2Ms. We appreciate you, Keith, as you do every Wednesday. Also appreciate you bringing the heat with the afternoon delight.
Hey, clean out
debrief.
your nose, people.
Yes.
Clean out your nose.
If you're stuffy and it's not because of allergies, go get that checked out. You would feel like you'd hear that stuff calling around in there, but maybe you don't. I don't know. Keith, we appreciate you as always. Have a great rest of your week.
You too, guys. Take care.
Awesome. That's Keith Fleming. We'll be right back with the final segment of this Wednesday afternoon.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
We need to go up north and bring Ohio State into the SEC.
I'm living for the day. I'm living for the day.
That ain't gonna happen. I tackled him. I grabbed his leg, wouldn't let him go. Got a picture with him. Up in Hoover.
We need to talk about that if you don't mind, James.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Your biggest investment is your home. Protect it while also improving its appearance with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. We have sand, mulch, gravel, or lay down decorative stone, all available for pickup and delivery. Discover your dream landscape with Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Imagine the moment you proudly pull up to your home that you've worked so hard for, enhanced by quality mulch, decorative stones, and more. Let's make it happen today. Request a quote online at earthworkspc.com or swing by the office at 2005 Industrial Drive. Love the land you live on.
Kitchen Designs in Panama City Beach and Santa Rosa Beach want to help you make your dream kitchen a reality in 2024. Family owned and operated for over 20 years, they offer cabinets, countertops, flooring, and tile. Their cash and carry program offers Shaker White cabinets available the very next day. Call Kitchen Designs to make your dream come true. 850-775-4150.
You hear it first. Sports talk right now. Back to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey.
I know it seems a bit overwhelming at first.
Broadcasting from the Bill Kramer Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Kramer Marine Outdoor Studios.
Something makes me think you'll get used to it.
On ESPN Northwest Florida.
Chicken, chicken. Chicken, chicken, chicken.
All right, we're on your time, Jay. You just do what you need to do, and we'll figure it out. You almost missed Chickenhead.
No, I can't miss Chickenhead.
No, you definitely can't miss Chickenhead. You're listening to the Inside Drive live here on ESPN Northwest Florida. We appreciate all of our local and live and Griffin and Georgia and all over the country listening to the Inside Drive. We appreciate your loyalty and love to hear your interactions and texting and Facebooking and now TikToking. Is that what it's called? Is that the verb?
I guess.
When you post a TikTok or a post on TikTok, is it TikToking?
I think of a grandfather clock every time I think of TikTok. Yeah.
Well,
but
for sure.
Have you heard one in a while? A grandfather clock?
No. We had one when we first moved down here, but the moving company absolutely destroyed it. So it had no more TikToking.
Right.
It ticked its last talk in North Augusta, South Carolina.
I remember going to my great grandmother's house back in the day and hearing that grandfather clock. It was just
Bong, bong.
Yeah.
Did it do it on the half an hours too?
I don't remember the half an hours.
I don't know if any clock ever did. I was just came to my mind.
But I do remember the old grandfather clock.
So we gave an update of the Water Sound Invitational, which is currently going on over there at Shark's Tooth Golf Club. It is the final round today, and everybody is at least through 9 holes. But Florida State, remember I said they were 10 strokes back. They're making a charge. They're now tied for second. Vanderbilt is -3 today, holding a 4-stroke lead at 23 under par. But now Florida State is tied for second at 19 under par, as they are 10 under par on their round today, making a charge. And Georgia Tech's right there as well. Richard Sanders, Georgia Tech alumni. He's a huge Ramblin' Wreck fan. They are -11 on their round today. So Georgia Tech and Florida State making some moves, trying to take a little more pressure on Vanderbilt. Only a 4-stroke lead now. Now, granted, Florida State and Georgia Tech are on their last few holes, and Vanderbilt pretty much has the majority of the back 9 still to go, but maybe the majority of the back 9 to fall apart a little bit as well. So we'll update everybody tomorrow on the final results there of the Water Sound Invitational. On the individual player side, our buddy Gray Albright from FSU, he's -10 total. He's got a 2-stroke lead. He's on hole 14. Well, he may be further along now. That's just the individual score being reported. But yeah, he's -4 on his round today and has a 2-stroke lead over Christo Lamprecht from Georgia Tech, who's -8. So hopefully, and Luke Clanton from Florida State, he's -5 on his round today.
Wow.
And it's a tough golf course.
Yeah.
Although Chase Seifert has, I think he's got a 63. It was the course record, but I think that was broken there at some point in maybe the ACC Championship.
I got you.
But good luck over there as they finish up. Always awesome to have a high-end Division I golf tournament right in our backyard. Also, don't forget what's coming up at 7 p.m. tonight, Jay Henley.
Oh, Arnold versus Booker T. Washington.
There you go.
Gavlax Stadium.
Man, it's like you pay attention.
You got to go to GoFan, though, to get the...
Bingo. No cash box at the gate.
That's
which
right.
actually is a little easier. If you got GoFan, it's a little quicker to get in because you don't have to get the change and all that stuff. And you just scan the tickets. Boom, you're in. You're good to go. But yes, that's Arnold versus Booker T. Washington. That is the regional final in the Class 5A state tournament. That's the Region 1 Class A with a chance to go to the Final Four on the line. And we'll see if those Arnold Marlins can avenge Booker T. Washington, which knocked them out of the playoffs last year and suffered their only loss this season was to Booker T. Washington in that district championship in PKs. But whatever happens, it should be a fantastic soccer game. Some of the Arnold's been 1 or 2 in the nation all year. So if you haven't went on and watched anything, you're looking for something to do tonight, take your kids to a really good sporting event. Go watch one of the best college soccer teams in the country compete right here in Panama City Beach.
Got a good feeling about Arnold tonight.
I think they're going to take some revenge out tonight.
I think so,
I can feel it. And, there's a lot of seniors that have been with this team since they were freshmen that have won a national championship, lost in the championship game, and then also got knocked out of the playoffs last year. So, I think this may be the harder of their rest of their journey. So I think if they get this one over the hump, they'll be heading down there and taking a chance at the Final Four. So good luck to the Arnold Marlins soccer team in that one. Got a couple other quick things to talk about in this final segment. I think I completely jinxed UConn yesterday. Remember I was talking about, is it UConn and everybody else? Who's going to be at UConn? Are they going to go back-to-back? Well, guess what happened yesterday, Jay?
What happened?
UConn lost.
Uh-oh.
They lost to number 15 Creighton, and they didn't just lose, they lost handedly 85-66 on Creighton's home court. It was the UConn is still 24-3 overall and 14-2 in Big East play, which puts them in line for that number 1 seed. But as you might have recalled, they had 14 straight victories in a row, and that was leading men's college basketball. Well, that is no more, and it's the first time in program history that the Creighton Blue Jays had taken down a number 1 seed in college basketball. So
always
apparently, if you want a team to lose, just tell me to talk about them, and then that'll happen. But I thought that was some pretty crazy foreshadowing with UConn. What do you think, Jay?
You can only be on the mountaintop for so long. 14 times, that's pretty good in NCAA basketball.
Yeah, absolutely, especially basketball. I mean, basketball and baseball, it's just tough to win game in and game out. And speaking of number 1 seeds, this doesn't happen all the time, but we had another number 1 seed, which I spoke about yesterday, get knocked off. Now, it doesn't have as big of an impact because they play a lot more games, but number 1, Wake Forest, played a 1-game matchup yesterday. Their Tuesday games. Typically, you got the Tuesday games and then some Wednesday games, some Thursday games, but the series runs Friday through Sunday. Wake Forest, number 1 team in the country in men's college baseball, lost yesterday to UNC Greensboro 4-3.
Ooh!
So you had 2 number 1 seeds go down in men's college sports yesterday, and both begin with B, baseball and basketball. That probably doesn't happen too often, but some other scores from the Division I top 25. North Carolina took down Elon. Do you know what the Elon mascot is? I wonder if David Hayes knows this one.
I don't even know where Elon is.
It's in North Carolina. Okay. I actually toured that school.
I don't think that I know what it is because I'm going to say the Eagles. So
close.
Purple? Are they purple?
It's like a
green, ain't they?
No, they're like it's a shade of red and yellow.
Are they the Musks?
No, they're not. No, they're the Phoenix.
Oh, the Phoenix.
The Elon Phoenix. Like the bird with the fire.
Yeah,
not the city in Arizona.
Never guess that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I just didn't know if you knew, but now you know.
Elon, is that Division II or
no?
It is Division I. Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's actually a really good school.
Is this coastal or is this Piedmont?
It's kind of in the middle of the state. I forget exactly where, but I remember we toured Elon, and it was in my top 5.
Pretty close to the capital of Tennessee over there in Memphis.
Yeah, which is almost not even in Tennessee.
We were doing so good today.
I know. We almost made the whole show without a derogatory comment towards you. Clemson beat Presbyterian College, PC, which is down there just north of Columbia, South Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Presbyterian may be in North Carolina. I can't remember. Anyway, Clemson took care of business 8-2 in that one. South Carolina took care of Winthrop. I do know where Winthrop is. Do you know where Winthrop is, Jay Henley?
Do not.
Rock Hill, South Carolina. They were a big rival. Where's Presbyterian?
South Carolina.
Just a little bit north of Columbia, kind of by the Lexington area, if I'm not mistaken. I think their home golf course is Musgrove Mill Country Club. Great golf course.
Okay.
Really cool track. Fun to play.
Good public place,
No, it's a private club. But we made a couple trips out there because it wasn't too far away when I was working at Mount Vintage. Really fun track to play, that's for sure. But yeah, the Winthrop Golden Eagles. When I was at Coastal, Winthrop and Coastal used to go. They were the 2 best basketball teams in the Big South at the time.
Right.
So we used to travel up to Rock Hill for when we were playing away, and it was intense. It was intense. We played a lot of championship games in the Big South Conference, and if at the time you win the Big South Conference, you got an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament, so it was kind of a big deal. Like I said, UNC Greensboro, go ahead.
Boston Tim texted in. He said, "Quick, Ryan, talk about the Yankees."
Oh man, I got nothing to talk about.
Or the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I ran into one of our listeners yesterday at a good taco place with a good Taco Tuesday, and he mentioned that baseball is better, and this is so true, but I just hadn't thought about it. Baseball is better when the Yankees are hated and the Red Sox are loved.
Yeah,
and
I can see that. No, I totally can. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It kind of takes you back about 15 years to when the Red Sox were dominating, and they kind of flipped the script a little bit on the Yankees. So
they did.
Yeah, no, that's a good take and a good point. That's for sure. Max Delighted, Indiana Hoosiers, number 23 in the country, took down Miami of Ohio 12-6. My Coastal Carolina Chanticleers got back in the winning circle, beating UNC Wilmington 7-2 on that one. I think UNC Wilmington are the Seahawks, potentially. I visited that campus as well.
What university?
UNC Wilmington.
Oh, okay.
I think they're the Seahawks. Not 100% on that one. Tennessee, number 9, they beat UNC Asheville 3-2. The UNC schools were in action yesterday. Number 18, Iowa took down Loras. Don't have any clue where that one is or where they are, where they're from. Alabama had a dominating performance against the Hilltoppers. That's Eastern Kentucky. Never mind. Against Middle Tennessee State, Alabama, who's 17th in the country, won that one 6-1. Texas A&M, number 8, beat Incarnate Ward 9-3. The Campbells have been on fire lately. They beat UCSB, who at the time was ranked 17th in the country. They beat them 2-1 in their first series. They just took down East Carolina yesterday, the number 11 team in the country, 7-6. Get those Camels a ranking in the top 25 next week.
They also have a player, Grant Knipp. I don't know if you brought this up or not, because for some reason when I was just reading this a few minutes ago, I thought that I heard you mention this the other day. But and he went to Alabama, transferred over to Campbell. He's a catcher who pitches and hits bombs.
Oh, no, I did not mention that. We only talked about the ECU player who had the prosthetic leg and pinch hit.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow, that's pretty impressive there.
Yeah.
I also visited Campbell University when I was looking at stuff. That place is out in the middle of nowhere.
And that was a big no for you?
Yeah, just there's not a whole lot going on out there. But they got great sports teams, and at the time I was talking to the golf coach while they were doing a practice and all that. It was pretty cool. It was windy. I remember being very windy. It was almost like you were out in the plains of Oklahoma or something like that is what it felt like.
When you're 19, 20 years old, you want to see some neon lights and everything, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But another upset yesterday, number 6 team in the country, the Vanderbilt Commodores lost to the Dayton Flyers 8-5. That was a home game yesterday for Vandy. Florida took care of business, number 4 team in the country, just up the road there in Jacksonville, North Florida. They won that one 10-0. Number 19 Texas Tech beat UT Arlington 13-1. Number 5 ranked in the country TCU beat Texas State 6-5. Texas beat Houston Christian 20-3. Arizona State upset, I guess you could say upset Kansas State, who's ranked number 24, 9-6. And then you had 2 other top 25 games played, but they were both postponed because they were out there in Los Angeles and Malibu, California, and they are getting a ton of rain right now. So a lot of good college action going on, but kudos to the Campbells for getting that one done.
The fighting Campbells, or the fighting camels.
Are they fighting camels, or are they just pacifist
That's
camels?
What I just, fighting camels.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just have a camel.
Right, they got to be fighting camels.
Be aggressive.
Yeah.
They got lots of water.
But they're slow. Camels are pretty slow.
I don't know. I think they could get up there a little bit.
Yeah.
Slow and steady.
Maybe I don't think they're a donkey.
Oh, okay. See,
this is when you say, "Hey Siri, what's the top speed of a camel?"
I want to know. A fighting camel.
40 miles an hour.
Yes.
They average 25 mile an hour for 1 hour, 12 mile an hour for up to 18 hours. Holy cow!
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Really? Yeah, that's wild.
That's crazy.
See, I don't
40
know.
miles an hour in between 2 humps would be really hard.
That would be a tough task to hang on.
Dang.
But in how many? 8 hours straight going 12 miles an hour?
18 at 12 miles an hour.
18 hours at 12?
25 miles an hour for 1. Train like a dang camel, y'all.
Screw electric cars. Get me a camel.
I'm moving to the Middle East.
There you go. Well, there's a lot of golf courses, too, that use camels as caddies.
They sure do.
Yeah, out there in the Middle East, absolutely.
Yeah.
They, and if you need some water, you just tap into the hump and you're good to go, too. I don't think that's how it works.
They just don't read greens very well.
Yeah, no, they're not great at reading greens, and you don't want them to walk in your line.
No.
Because that'll certainly affect the putt.
Because I would think...
Unless the undulation was too much, then maybe...
flatten it out a little bit. 40 miles an hour, Jay.
Yep.
They're not donkeys. They're camels. And that is a perfect way to end our show today. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate Amy Bond and Keith Fleming. Chris Paul will be in studio with us tomorrow, breaking down the middle school boys championship playoff games, or the playoff games leading up to the championship. Afternoon underdogs at 4 p.m. Lots of great guests coming on the show today. We will see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy this beautiful day.
ESPN Northwest Florida presents the most college basketball.
College basketball is